trial, 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 trial,
Just remember, Graham, we're on camera.
Oh, I know.
Trial.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We got through the technical difficulties, but you're here at the binge, all right? That's what you missed in that opening statement with Eric. As always, how are you today, kiddo?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
The technical difficulty threw me off a little bit. I'm happy to be back on the mic with you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. My dad's here. My Uncle Dave is here. I haven't spoken to my Uncle Dave in a while. It's good that you're checking in on me, and I really appreciate it. I'm doing well, in case you're wondering. James, thanks for joining us. Matt Donnan, thanks for joining us. Chuck Little, thank you for joining us today. We're here to bring you guys some talk about the Bills draft, a little bit of Sabres action.
Yeah.
Let's get into it, man.
Let's get right into it. We got the Sabres going on, but before we even move on to that, we have slides that are going to be on your screen in today's show that Greg has put together for you. So make sure you leave a like for Greg and, tell everybody to listen along. If you like what you're hearing here, we'd love to have more people join us in this family, but Greg, thank you for everything you've done for the show and for what you're allowing these people to see on their screens. But we got Sabres talk first, right?
Yeah, buddy.
We're gonna dive right into that. UPL. Eric has been talking very highly of this kid, so why don't you start it away? Tell us what you think about the kid. First impression.
First impression of UPL in the NHL. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He looks pretty good.
Man, you really got to clap your hands to say that.
Yeah, you got to sound it out. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Honestly, in his first start, he got his first NHL win. He looked pretty good. He definitely had the jitters for the first couple periods.
Oh, yeah.
The Sabres end up winning that game 6-4, and it's a huge confidence booster as a fan, as just somebody who cares about the Sabres and as an organization. Having the young talent of this organization really step up and start to win games and play better hockey. It's been really, really relieving, especially after the Ralph Kruger firing, to have a team that seems to be a team again and not just a bunch of guys that just don't give a shit.
True. Very true. I mean, every time the Sabres take the ice, I think us as fans are just hoping they're not going to be on the front page of ESPN the following morning talking about how terrible they are again. But I like what I saw from UPL. I thought he put on a great showing. I was a little nervous. The first shot he faced went in. That's a good start to your NHL career, but he bounces back, shows a lot of confidence in the net, and that's what we need from our goaltenders right now. We have a very young defensive core that's trying to establish themselves in the league. I mean, Bryson, who is the other younger kid there we have? Yoki Haru, but he was injured for a while and came off injury there. I forget, but they had both of them on the same D line last night, and I mean, when you got a young D like that, the goalie and them are still trying to figure out their lingo too. So I'm just glad they came away with the win. Honestly, it was a nice refresher.
Me too, man. And Sam Reinhart had a hat trick in the game, I believe. He has really stepped up since Eichel has gone out. He's looking like that player that we took second overall back in 2014, and it's just refreshing because it kind of seems like we don't really need Jack Eichel. I love Jack Eichel. I think he is a very talented individual. I know that the stats don't always add up because our team has just been bad. But we've seemed to be playing better without him lately. And it's it kind of brings into question, you brought this up before the show. Do we really need Jack Eichel?
I think any team could use Jack Eichel. I don't know if anybody absolutely needs anybody. But with Jack and the way his career's kind of unfolded here in Buffalo, I just kind of thought, is it coming to an end? Last year we had a bunch of trade rumors around him, how he was unhappy. This year, same situation, get some veterans in there, try to flip this organization around. Doesn't work out, laughing stock of the league, and all of a sudden Eichel's out for the rest of the year with an injury. That injury was kind of hush-hush for a while, too, so I don't know if they were trying to deal him at the trade deadline already. But at the same time, when you got a guy like Sam Reinhart, who many people would probably say isn't even a comparison to the skill level of Jack Eichel, but
I would agree with that.
He is somehow making his team better around him. The same job that Jack Eichel was supposed to be doing the whole entire time, and he has in the past. I mean, he's the one who gave Reinhart, a nice pathway into the NHL and created an opportunity for him. But it's nice to see that.
Well, Reinhart was taken the year before Eichel, or 2 years before.
But we've always said Jack makes Reinhart.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
and that Reinhart can't really do it on his own, and now he's proven that wrong.
Yeah.
This year.
And it's just nice to see that he's stepping up to the plate and really becoming that role that the Sabres need. There's a lot of youth on this team, and Sam, being a part of this organization for a while, he's probably kind of used to the territory at this point in his career, and knows how to keep battling even though we're down. So that's nice to see that he hasn't fully given up, because he's trying to make a name for himself still. He's a free agent after this year. He's not just going to let the season go to waste for him. He's trying to make his money next year regardless. So for him stepping up and showing teams out there that he can even be versatile at center and stuff, and creating opportunity for his team, I think is very valuable.
Greg, could you find out real quick, is Sam Reinhart a restricted free agent or an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year?
I think he's restricted.
I think he is restricted also. Mm-hmm. Another guy that has really stepped up lately is Dahlin.
Yeah.
And the guy has been playing unbelievable since they fired Ralph Kruger. He had a goal last night, and I think Reinhart had 3. He had 1. Who were the other 2? I think Middlestat had either 1 or an assist. Middlestat's got like 14 points in his last 17 games.
He's going off.
Yeah,
it's nice to see our youth going off. And you did mention Dahlin. I think Don Granato has kind of just like walked in there and said, okay, this is what we're good at. This is what we're going to do. So they allowed Dahlin to come into the offensive zone a lot and create opportunity for himself.
And he is definitely taking advantage. I know that Ralph Kruger talked about doing that, but never actually implemented it. Mm-hmm. Don Granato seems to have these guys playing in a way that is beneficial to all of their skill bases and their in different levels of skill. The way that the lines are set up right now are almost perfect for what you have on this team. And honestly, this guy's really won me over. And I really think, I know last week I said, is there enough evidence to show that this guy should be the next head coach of the Sabres on a permanent basis? And I'm starting to lean more towards yes, that he should be.
Yeah. Greg, did you happen to get that information on Sam Reinhart?
Yeah, he'll be a restricted free agent still.
Okay. So we have the opportunity to
get something for him.
To tender, well, not just that, to keep him around, which is what I would like to do. I would like to see us continue to keep our core group of guys that we've drafted in high rounds that we have developed throughout the years, and not just develop them for other teams to take them and to do whatever they need to with them and use them for the best player that they can be, which is what seems to be happening with the Sabres. We're just a farm organization for the rest of the NHL.
It's definitely how it's gone.
Yes.
That's been the theme here. But back to your Don Granato statement, I can't agree more. Taking over a team that was literally a dumpster fire, losing all of your top-end talent, which most people said, on paper, Eric Stahl, the people we let go or traded, to come in here and take this youth movement over and still give them a reason to show up and skate. I mean, you can tell these young guys, they come in here and they go out. They are playing everything in the guys. And you can definitely see the energy and the momentum that they try to build. We just fall short in some games, but there's no doubt that they're playing 100 times better. And the difference between Don Granato, the other thing I like about him is that he's not staying system to one system. He's kind of, like you said, he's putting these lines together that are almost perfect now, but maybe he took the time to actually see how his players respond to one another and the individuals on those lines to put the best skill groups together, which is what a head coach should do.
Yes.
That's what Kruger should have done from the get-go. And that was – I'm pretty sure you're the one who brought it up to me, that Don Granato spoke about how Kruger wouldn't change his system for the team.
Right.
And that was kind of their downfall. Had these moves been made earlier, we might be talking a different lingo here with the Sabres. They're winning against teams that are being considered Stanley Cup, runners. And they're doing it with half the talent that they had in the beginning of the year.
Supposedly half the talent.
Right.
A lot of these guys that they've brought up, former first-round picks, former second-round picks, guys that you've developed throughout your organization, they're finally getting their shot at the NHL, and a lot of them are really taking advantage of that, which is really, really important, is that you are developing from within. You can't just constantly trade for better players. You can't just constantly rely on bringing in free agents, because we saw what that did this year, obviously, with Taylor Hall, Eric Stahl, guys that were highly sought after. I mean, you traded for Eric Stahl.
Yep.
Taylor Hall was arguably the most highly touted free agent on the market this year that you brought in, and it just didn't pan out.
Right.
But now you're bringing up your youth that you've developed from within, and it looks like whatever has been happening in Rochester for the last couple of years with Chris Taylor, this year with the new head coach, who I can't remember, the guy who used to be the USA 18 and under team coach. I can't remember his name, but he the development that they've been able to do within Rochester has been great.
Right.
Now you have guys that are established in the NHL. You got Eichel, you got Ristolainen, you got Allmark now, you got Reinhart, Olofsson now a couple of years in.
Yep. Yoki Haru.
Yoki Haru, a guy. Well, I mean, you traded for Yoki Haru.
Rasmus Asplund, I like too.
Well, I'm talking about the guys that are established.
I think Asplund is establishing himself.
He's still technically a rookie.
True.
So
True.
I'm talking about guys that have been up there for a little bit. You got Eichel, you got Ristolainen, got Allmark, Reinhart, Skinner. Those guys paired now with the youth that's coming in, it just looks like something is going right for the Sabres. It's a good way to end the season on a high note.
Yeah.
As long as they continue to just play hard the way that they've been playing and try to maybe spoil something for one of these teams going into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the best you can get out of it.
Yeah.
The guy I was trying to mention earlier was William Borgen, the other defenseman, who is just another example. I mean, these are a bunch of young guys who probably weren't expecting to play that much in the NHL this year and getting their shot, getting their opportunity, and they're really turning it around and turning heads. I mean, I think Bryson has definitely earned a starting role on
absolutely.
Sabres team.
Yeah, absolutely. The youth at the defensive position is really nice, because you look at a guy like McCabe now, Jake McCabe, who's been out the whole year with a leg injury, unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. He's now automatically expendable.
Yeah.
Ristolainen, he's got this weird no trade ever clause.
Yeah.
In his thing. You could end up trying to convince him to be like, hey, we don't really need your contract anymore, and we don't really need you as much. Don't get me wrong. I like Ristolainen. I think he's really changed his game this year. I know I was really hard on him in the offseason. I was really hard on him at the end of last year.
Yep. This
year, he's kind of turned things around a little bit. His plus minus is much better than it has been. But you kind of look at a guy's contract like that, and you start looking at all this young talent that you got coming up, and you go, ooh, save a lot of money on this.
Seriously. And now you got Jason Karamanos in there helping you make some front office moves, taking over the AHL. I'm pretty pumped. I mean, it's disappointing how the season went, no doubt. And any fan should be disappointed in this organization. And they know that we're disappointed.
Yeah.
But Jason Karamanos is a no-joke move. The funny thing is this is another Carolina guy. You know, we can't escape the Carolina theme going on.
I thought it was
here in
Pittsburgh.
Buffalo. He went to Pittsburgh. But he actually started his GM career and everything
with the Hurricanes.
And he was with our
something about
Kevin Adams.
Something about going to Carolina and then coming to Buffalo. People just must like to leave the Carolinas.
This is just
come to the cold weather and be happy.
This is just telling me the Pagulas want New York to turn into Carolina. That's just I don't think so. We want the beach and everything up here.
No, but there's a lot to look forward to with the Sabres. Which is a total shock, because if you would have asked me a month ago if there was any bright spot to the Sabres organization, I would have said absolutely not. It is just a dumpster fire, and there's almost no way to right the ship. That's totally changed now 3 weeks later. Like, Don Granato has turned this team into somewhat of a competent organization.
Yep.
And the players have responded well. You have a nice, young, talented core of guys.
Yeah.
That all you got to do is just continue to just rely on them. And Paige Thompson, Casey Middlestat, Rasmus Asplund, like you said, Darlene.
Dylan Cousins.
Dylan Cousins is, oh, God.
He's playing. Will Borgen.
Borgen. Yeah. Borgen hasn't really played
even
as much
Arttu
this year.
Samuelson or Arttu
Ruotsalainen.
Yes. He's been playing pretty solid. I mean, it's looking good. I mean, the youth is looking good in Buffalo. So that is something that's a plus going into next year, and hopefully, I honestly hope Don Granato stays, because he knows how to, communicate with this team.
It really seems like he does. It really seems like he's got the handle on what Kruger couldn't do. on what Housley couldn't do,
Yep.
on what Bilesma couldn't do. Like all these coaches that we've brought in over the last 10 years in this playoff drought, none of them have been able to kind of find a way to just win games with what you have.
Right.
Don Granato seems to be finding ways to at least make this team in every single game that they're. Hello, Kitty.
Oh, look who's coming to join us.
Yeah.
Miss Marie.
This is AY's new cat. She's a little sweetheart. Yeah.
She's like, I want some pets.
Yeah, she just loves to be the center of attention. So everybody give some love to the cat. Hello. Yeah, but it's just really interesting that Don Granato seems to be the guy that is able to right the ship after all these guys that they've brought in haven't been able to do anything.
And they've had like established kind of like so-called careers.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
Yes. So come here.
You can just pick her up and put her down.
Come here.
Oh, she
hop down.
Peace.
She doesn't want me to pick her up.
Like, I don't want any of that graham cracker this morning.
Yeah. Well, not many people do.
But yeah, no, I totally understand. I totally agree with you there. It's kind of refreshing to see that everybody's taking advantage of their opportunity here in Buffalo, given the situation. Don Granato being a prime example of that, and showing you that, hey, you can count us out. You can tell us that we're garbage, but we're going to move on and try to make the best of this situation and the best of what we got. So that leads us to tonight's game. Rangers, Sabres. The last 10 games, Greg, I believe, were what? 3-3, and we have some overtime.
No, we're 6-3-1 in the last 9, I thought.
That's the Rangers, but what are the Sabres?
No, I think that's the Sabres.
What are they, Greg? You got that info for us?
I can't hear him at all.
No, I'm here right now. Sorry about that, guys. So the Rangers last 10, they were 6-3-1. And then the Sabres record, let's see. I had their record from when they were, since the trade at on 4/12, they're 3-3-1. So that's their last 7. I can get you the few before that. That's just what I have on hand right now.
Okay, cool. No, so
I missed that whole thing, just so you're aware.
Well, the Sabres since the trade. I actually want to talk about that before we dive into the Rangers game.
Tonight's game.
Yeah, because how do you feel we've done so far since the trade of Taylor Hall? I know you were pretty upset about what we got in return. Anders Bjork has 4 points for the Sabres since last week. How do you feel that that's going over so far?
Anders Bjork seems to fit the team well, better than Taylor Hall did, I would say.
Yeah.
But I just think Taylor Hall is a more talented player.
Yep.
And I'm still disappointed in the trade. A couple weeks past the trade now, I still feel we got fleeced a little bit. Didn't quite get what we should have gotten. Still think first round pick is where we should have been, or at least conditional. I know we talked about that in very much in depth.
Oh, we didn't talk. We
argued.
We raised. I had too much Red Bull.
Yeah, I think I did too. But I really am excited about this kid because he does have speed.
Yep.
He does seem to play well with Dylan Cousins. And whoever else he's on a line with, I think he's on a line with Arttu Ruotsalainen right now, and they seem to be really compatible.
Yeah.
So for what we got, it wasn't quite enough, but this kid is talented. He's got upside. Well, I want to see more from him. But yeah, I don't hate the trade as much as I did.
Okay, that's
what
good.
Is basically what I'm getting at.
I mean, because I would say, like I've been saying all show, is the Sabres are playing their best hockey, and since trading all the big names, quote unquote, that we had, we even lost Okposo, who many thought his veteran leadership was important for the team, but clearly just slowed us down. Literally, I mean, he is one of the slowest hockey players I've seen, but he was getting hot. He was getting real hot.
Okposo had like 9 points in like 10 games or something like that.
He was killing it, but
he was starting to turn it around. But like you said, he's just slow.
He's slow.
And he's gotten a lot of concussions throughout his career. Now he's out with a broken cheekbone because he got hit in the face with a puck.
Yeah. I think the thing that's just been helping the Sabres look better and be better is we play really fast now.
Yes.
There hasn't been many times in the past few years where I've turned on the TV and said, Graham, what the hell, dude? These guys look slow as hell. Like,
no, there's been tons of times where you say that.
I always say
there haven't been many times where you say, man, the Sabres look fast tonight.
Yeah, like they look, and they are. They're playing with speed. I think that's what's keeping us in it, is we're pressing the boards. We're getting deep in their zones. We're dumping the puck. We're chasing. and we're just using our speed. We're using our youth against these older guys who might not be as quick and agile as they used to be. And I think that's going to be a big reason and a big play style is to them going in tonight against the Rangers. The Rangers play a very physical game.
Yes.
With power forwards. Like Zibanejad, to me,
he's I would say you have a man crush on Mika Zibanejad
and Evgeny Malkin. I mean, they play the same game. They are heavy in the forward.
The only difference is that one's like huge and the other one's like average size. But
Zibanejad's 6'4".
Yeah, but Zibanejad's not like bulky.
He's a big boy.
No, Malkin is a big boy.
Yeah,
Malkin's a big boy. Zibanejad's like
he's lanky, 6'4".
Yeah, he's
kind
of more of a yeah. He does play big.
He plays
aggressive. I mean, he's on a line with Panarin and
it's not Lafreniere.
I think it's Kako.
Kako.
Yeah. I believe that's that line. I can't remember. I don't follow the Rangers close enough.
But that's the only. I feel like if you're gonna beat the Rangers, you got to skate with the Rangers. They're gonna skate, and they're fast. They're physical.
They have guys that can put the puck in the back of the net for sure.
Defensemen. I mean, Fox is unreal. He's been one of the best defensemen in the league this year. I just think that's gonna be the. You just got to be a motor tonight as a team. You can't stop. You just got to keep. You're gonna have to skate with them, or they can turn around and run away with them. I mean, they have literally embarrassed teams this year.
Yeah, they have. They've beaten teams 9-0, 9-1, 6-1, 10-2.
Yeah,
all kinds of stuff. Like they've been putting up a lot of goals this year. Mm-hmm. And the Rangers are arguably the second best team in the NHL right now.
Okay.
The Bruins are actually it's the Bruins and the Rangers, and they're in the same division.
Dude, I would say the Capitals are the best team.
I don't know about that.
Dude,
the Bruins are really good.
I think the Capitals are the best team in the league by far. As long as Ovi's in the league, the Capitals are the best team.
They got Chara too.
They got Backstrom, Oshie. Like
that Capitals team is stacked.
It is. Wilson.
I would love for the Sabres to be stacked like that one day. Like one day we're talking about how, oh man, we got all these guys that we've brought up throughout our system, guys that we kind of just gathered throughout the years, and man, we're looking good.
Yeah. I'm going to try to figure out if UPL is starting tonight against the Rangers, because I think that would be a cool matchup. Shesterkin versus UPL, both up-and-coming goaltenders in the league. Shesterkin's playing really good, though. Like, he's actually a no-joke goalie. I like what the Rangers did there.
His name Igor Shesterkin?
Yeah. And they have Georgiev. Yeah, I think their goaltending is probably up there top 5 in the league. You know, even trading, what's his face there?
Henrik Lundqvist?
Henrik Lundqvist.
I'm a huge fan of Hank.
He's just old as dirt.
I don't care, man. He's having heart. So the problem is with him is he's having heart problems right now.
Yep.
So that's why he's not playing for the Capitals. But Henrik Lundqvist, the guy, he's got this series on MSG, and I don't know. As a Sabres fan, I watch MSG all the time because that's where we watch them.
Yep.
But MSG is mostly for the Rangers. He's got this little series called Behind the Mask where he does like charity things where he wears a different mask with different charities on different nights.
Yeah.
For game nights. And he did this one for Michael J. Fox, who was Marty McFly in Back to the Future. I don't know if you know that. He's got Parkinson's.
Yeah.
So he did a Parkinson's thing. It was one of the coolest things. He's got this guy in Sweden that makes all his masks for him. They're beautiful.
Right.
All kinds of different designs. It's insane. It's incredible. And if you get the chance to check that out. Okay. So Tokarski's in net tonight.
Yeah.
Is what Greg just said.
Dustin Tokarski.
But yeah, if you ever get a chance to check that out, it's either Behind the Mask or it's something with Henrik Lundqvist from when he was on the Rangers. It's so cool.
Okay.
But he's just an all-time favorite of mine. I don't know where I was going. Yeah. The Rangers goaltending, I feel like, is okay. Georgiev has good nights and bad nights.
Yeah, just like any.
Shesterkin seems to be an up-and-comer, but he definitely has off nights.
Yeah.
It's mostly that offense that the Rangers have. They can just put up crazy numbers on you in a short period of time.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I think all goalies are susceptible to have off nights, except the Lundqvist of the world and the Patrick Waz and stuff. But the Sabres, I'm more confident with the Sabres going into any game right now. They play fast, they play physical, they play young. They're trying to put pucks on net. I would say the one thing that they need to upgrade on going into tonight is the power play. We've had a really bad power play. it's almost like they're overthinking it.
Reinhart scored on the power play last night or 2 nights ago.
But, I mean, our percentage is pretty low in the past 4 games or so where we're not really putting pucks on net. And Don Granato was asked that, numerous times throughout the week about the power play. And I think that's something they worked on yesterday and this morning, and they're probably going to carry that over into tonight because we're playing a faster style, we're causing and creating more opportunity for penalties and getting that one man. And when you're a young team and you can get that one man on the other team over there, you got to take advantage of that because you want them chasing you. You don't want to be chasing.
I think regardless, you want to take full advantage of any power play opportunity you get.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether the game's 0-0 or 5-0.
Mm-hmm.
I think power play goals are so important because you need to really take advantage of that 5-on-4 advantage you have.
Yep.
I do want to mention real quick, I love that the media is starting to treat Don Granato more as a permanent head coach than an interim guy. They're starting to ask him like serious coaching questions about what his philosophies are, what he's going to do to fix this, what he's going to do to change this, anything.
Well, dude,
it's just nice that the media is starting to treat him more of an actual head coach than just a guy that's there taking over the reins for a little bit of time.
And I think he's definitely earned that. He's taken a very young youth movement and made product out of it. You know what I mean? Like something people can watch, show up to the stadium and still kind of enjoy the play of hockey. And let's not forget, he's still making a case for himself for the rest of the league. The Seattle Kraken still need a head coach. There's going to be Tortorella is talking about being out of Columbus. So there's she's playing. So there's going to be coaching vacancies throughout the league, and Don Granato could easily go in there and
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. He's making a case for himself to be a coach somewhere. I hope it's here. I'm starting to get that way.
Me too.
But as far as Sabres talk goes, I think I'm kind of over it.
I'm kind of over it.
In the nicest way of saying it, I'm ready for the draft for the Buffalo Bills, man.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm excited for it. It's this Thursday, and I'm thinking that you and I should get on and do a full first round reaction Thursday night. Sit here, live stream the whole thing, and talk about every pick as it happens.
Wow.
I got the time now, man. It's my last week of school. I'm pumped.
Are you bringing beer and everything?
You're bringing the beer because I'm coming straight from school, and
you're bringing something. You're bringing something.
I'll bring my.
We'll talk about that. That might happen.
Face.
That could be a reality. We might be able to pull that off, and
I think we're gonna.
I know we're not the NFL Network or ESPN or CBS,
not.
But you know what? We'll do our damnedest to give you the best product.
Yeah, we're
better than that.
There we go, baby.
That's right, Greg. You tell him. We're better than that.
No.
All right?
We are just ourselves.
We are who they thought we were.
Jesus Christ. Who was that? Was that Dennis Green?
Yeah.
Is that who I'm thinking of? That coach?
They are who we thought they were.
Yeah. Was he with the Vikings or with the Cardinals when that thing? Yeah. Oh my God, that was so funny.
But let's dive into it real quick. So Thursday NFL draft. Make sure you guys are tuning in. You're hashtagging. You're doing all that crazy stuff, and tag us in there because if we are doing a live show, we want more people to see us too.
Yeah.
So make sure you're following and subscribing.
Yeah. For today's show, make sure you follow our page, like the podcast, share it to all your friends, and if you find the time, go check us out on Twitch too, because I think that we have different things that you can do through our Twitch page than on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out and share whatever you can with all your friends. We're going to try to grow this community as fast as possible, starting with the draft. And we would like to react to the draft with all of you on draft night and throughout the weekend as it happens.
As long as there's beer, I'm here. I don't really know how that goes for video though. Like if we're allowed to drink beer on live camera.
You are.
Shit.
Oh yeah.
Right,
oh yeah.
People, dude, they do drunk streams all the time.
Greg, would you be able to do that, or is that something you probably can't be there for? Are we gonna miss out on you?
To be determined. I'm gonna do my best. We'll figure something out. Okay, boys.
I'll make sure I order some Natty Daddies for you. That's
Natter days. Natter days.
Hey, gotta get the Natter Day for Greg, man.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I Uber that stuff over to you. But
DoorDash it.
All right, here we go. The NFL draft, round 1, pick 30. Graham, I would love to talk and get into your mind on where you think or what you think the Bills are going to do with this 30th overall pick. Recap the picks.
So the Bills have
Yep.
The Bills have the 30th pick in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
We have a second round pick, 61st. Excuse me, 93rd. The 161st and the
174.
And the 174. Okay. Then we have 213th in the 6th, and then 230
in the 7th.
And 36th in the 7th. Okay. So we got a fair number of picks. I think we got, 8?
Yep, we have one more pick than
7.
7 picks because we don't have the 4th. We have 2 fifths.
Yep, 2 fifths and 2 and 1/6 and 7.
Yep,
that's what we got. Be nice to trade up and get a 4th again. I think with those 2
we're going to trade out of the 3rd,
but let's start
out of the 1st. But I'm going to dive. I want to know what you want. You want to do for the first round.
So for the first round, I would love to see them draft someone on the defensive line, whether it's an edge or an interior guy. I know a lot of people are calling for the Etienne out of Clemson for running back. I've also seen Najee Harris's name thrown around at running back at the 30. I don't necessarily think we need a running back after signing Matt Breida, after continuing to have Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. I know that the running game wasn't what we wanted last year, but I really think that was mostly scheme-based and us trying to make a statement to the rest of the NFL that we're going to come out here and we're going to throw the ball over your heads the whole day and we're going to kill you that way.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really necessarily resort to the run the way that we used to. I know that kind of hurt some of the fans because that's what we're used to seeing is pound the rock, first, second down, and then throw on third down. That's been action. The Bills.
Yep.
That's been the Bills' game plan for the last 25 years, and it wasn't working. So they changed it last year. They decided to just throw the ball over everybody, and it worked. It worked. Yeah. 13-3. So I'm not saying that running back is an immediate need for us. I don't really think that we need those guys. Yeah, Najee Harris is an interesting guy to me more than Etienne. But like I said, man, interior defensive line or an edge guy is really where I want to go. And I'm thinking Christian Barmore, who is the guy that I was going to pick at number 30. He's like ranked 2nd overall in defensive tackles.
Yeah.
And he's a top 100 prospect and a top 5 defensive line prospect. So this kid's like 6'5", 311 pounds, or 6'4". He's huge. He's playing out of Alabama. This is the kid that I would really like to see us take. Or even that kid out of Penn State, Jason Owe. Yep. I can never get his name right because it's O-W-E-H.
Yep.
And it sounds weird when I say Owe. But those are the 2 guys that I'd like to see. Is one of them, I really think that defensive line is more of a need than running back. I think it's more of a need than tight end. I think it's more of a need than corner, which is also another spot that people are having us look at.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What do you think, man?
Well, Personally, I just think that you're right with the running backs. I don't think that you need to have a running back picked in the first round, especially like you said, getting Matt Breida. That was basically the speed element we didn't have already.
Yep. I
understand that if there's a home run hitter there, which is how Brandon Beane put it on his presser with Etienne and Najee Harris, that you look at it, obviously they're game changers. But there are bigger needs, I think, for the Bills at 30. But where their needs are, I feel like is going to put them in a position to trade back and still get the same value in the second round.
I agree with that.
Kind of like AJ Epinesa last year when we traded our first round pick. We were all kind of hoping that AJ would slide. Everybody was talking about AJ going to the Bills at 21. He was there at 21, and he was there in the second round somehow. That was not supposed to happen. He just slid down the boards, and we don't really know what we have yet in AJ Epinesa, but that's a good example of they still got the same value in the second round that they were going to get in the first round had they, not traded back.
Well, they didn't trade back. They traded that first round pick for Stephon Diggs.
I'm saying for this year. So if they trade back this year, that's just a good example that you could still possibly get the same value trading back as if you were staying in the first round.
Yeah, you never know who's going to slide and who's
right. So I think if there's not a top 5 player at the position that they are trying to upgrade, they trade back. And by that, I mean, I really feel like the Bills are looking at the defensive side of the ball in the first 2 rounds, whether it be corner, linebacker, or D-line. But that if they don't have like a top 5 corner there at 30, but you got, Asante Samuel, or you've got the guy from UCF, Robinson, sitting in the second round, 7 picks back. And I'm analyzing it as the Eagles are trading up.
Okay.
That's how I think this is going to happen. I think we're going to get the Eagles pick in the second round at pick 37 for our first round pick 30. And we're also going to get Zach Ertz in return in that trade. Just the falling out with how the Ertz's situation has gone in Philly, I feel like he really is a trade option, and they're going to try to get what they can for him. He is frustrated, upset. It just depends. I know you were talking about what if a team even later, do you get more picks and more value than Ertz? That could be a possibility too, but it's just, we know Brandon Beane, yes, he likes to take the best player available. So if he thinks the best player available is still going to be there 7 picks back, he's going to go there. If he thinks he might be there 20 picks back, he'll go there. I trust Brandon Beane in that. But my number 1 pick, that if he's there, my dream pick in the first round is Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech, cornerback, big dude. And he doesn't mess around. He's been known as the best corner in this draft since he was possibly able to come out last year, but he took the year off from COVID, and he's still projected the number 1 pick. So Caleb Farley would be huge. I don't think he'll be there, and that's why I think that we trade back with the Eagles at 37 and pick up like Asante Samuel or a DN like Peyton Turner or something like that.
Okay. I can see them trading back 100%. Brandon Beane has been known to make trades on draft day.
Yep.
He traded up for Allen. He traded up for Tremaine Edmonds. He traded back a couple times early on. I don't remember who he traded back. He traded back a bunch, though.
Well, I know he traded in his first year. He traded like 2 or 3 times.
Yes, he's not afraid to pull the trigger on draft day trades.
No,
which is something that I love about this dude. He's always about getting his guy at the best value he can. I'm sure he has a list of guys that are absolutes. No matter what, this is the guy that I'm taking in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
After that, I think it's okay if he's here, we're taking him. Kind of like last year with Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm fell all the way to us in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't pass him up another time. We're taking him. That was what he said.
3rd round grade on Jake Fromm.
And if he's there for you, take him.
Yep.
That's his mentality. I love that mentality. I think that we are in a very good spot to trade back, get some more draft capital, and possibly get a guy like Zach Ertz, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't hate the trade for Zach Ertz, but I feel like there are more pressing needs than tight end on this team. So if you're trading back and you're trying to get a player in return, I feel like you're trying to get an edge guy and a 2nd round pick. I don't know who the team is that you're trading with. I understand that you went in depth. You think the Eagles are the team that's going to try to trade up and get something. Yeah. I don't really see it that way necessarily, but I really think that an edge guy is what you're trying to get with that number 30 pick as far as trading away and getting a little bit of capital along with it, whether it's a 2nd or a 3rd or even a 5th.
Well, in a dream scenario, I would love that too. I would love to get a D end. The only thing I'm saying is if the Eagles are there and they have a guy up in the 1st round that they value and they want that 5th year option, and you're only moving back 7 picks, and you think you can get an Asante Samuel Jr. in 7 picks still, and you get a 2nd rounder and you get Zach Ertz, I feel like you win that trade tenfold with the situation, because the Eagles are in trouble.
Yes.
Ever since they let go of Carson Wentz, they're still paying for Carson Wentz's deal. Their cap issue is crazy. So I personally think the Eagles are going to try to get as many 5th round option players as they can to save their cap for their future. Because if they don't, they're going to be in cap hell for a long time. They're already there.
Yeah, they already are, and it's going to be a problem for them. I understand that you're picking that team, and I get why.
And I know you like the Falcons possibly coming up too.
I do. I believe they're 2 picks in front of the Eagles. No, they're right in front of they're 2 picks in front of the Eagles. Mm-hmm. So they'd only have to move up 5 spots.
Okay.
then the same thing kind of applies. Is where if you think you're going to drop back 5 spots, the guy you want is still going to be there, and you get your draft capital.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. But I think that this is more about if you're trading that number 30 pick and you're getting a player like Zach Ertz or a player that you need, you're more than okay with saying, okay, well, that number 30 pick is for that guy.
Yep.
And that's the guy I'm taking. It doesn't matter who I get after that.
Right.
Whether it's that at that point you're taking your best available on the board. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like how last year when we traded for Stephon Diggs, that number 21 pick was for Stephon Diggs. Yeah. Whoever falls to us, and whoever is there, we take.
Yeah.
That's the way that I see it, is that you get your value from that pick that you're trading away for the player.
Right.
Not so much that I'm going to try to plan this to where, hey, my guy might be there on the board too, and I'm getting that player. So it's a win-win. I'm saying more of I get what I get.
Yeah.
And it's still win because I'm getting the guy that I really wanted. With that first-round pick.
Yep. Absolutely. At the end of the day, though, I do think we're trading out. I don't think we're sitting at 30. Unless there's like a guy who just slid that was not supposed to be
Which could happen. We don't know what's going to happen because there's all these quarterbacks and there's always quarterback needy teams.
Yeah.
Especially in the top 10. That's going to push a bunch of guys back towards the end of the first round towards us.
Oh, and we've seen the Raiders just completely cause a circus with half their picks over the last
10 years. Too.
Remember when they took Gordon Hayward Bay at like
not Gordon Hayward Bay. It was what was his name? It wasn't Gordon Hayward Bay, but it was Hayward Bay was his last name.
It was like
it was because he was the fastest guy in the draft. The Raiders are all about speed. That's all they've been about for the last 20 years. I'm taking the fastest guy on the board, regardless of what position he is, or even like Sebastian Janikowski. Oh, we know we're going to be kicking a lot, so we're going to take a kicker in the first round.
Yeah,
best one there. It worked. I mean, it kind of worked out, sort of, but not really.
True.
Seabass wasn't bad for a long time.
Yeah, I like Seabass. But yeah, so regardless, whenever our first pick is in the draft, I'd like to see a corner, and then personally followed up, I'd like to see either a linebacker or an edge rusher. And you're saying edge rusher first. So
I'm just saying defensive line, whether it's interior or it's an outside pass rusher. So like I said, Christian Barmore. Yes, is a guy that I think could be there.
Yeah.
He also has the potential to be taken earlier because of his pedigree.
Yep.
Being an Alabama guy, being the number two overall. Yes.
Yeah.
He's a guy that is probably not going to be there. That's why I'm saying Jason Owe as a good alternate. The kid out of Penn State, he's looking pretty good. So his second round though, I'm really thinking Asante Samuel Jr. is going to fall to us there.
Okay.
See, that's a tough one now that I say that. It's hard to actually hear it come out of my mouth that he's going to fall that far because he is a pretty good corner.
He's one of the best.
Yes, and I would like to see the Bills address that second corner position a little more. I know that we got Levi Wallace back on a one-year deal. It's a prove-it deal again.
Yep.
I think a more permanent solution on that second corner spot opposite of Trey White is really what we need.
Yep.
A corner early on would be great. It would help this secondary immensely to have a core group of guys with Hyde, Poyer, White, and even Wallace and Johnson, and then have this young guy come in to learn behind all of them and to really grow and develop and be the guy on opposite of Trey White for however long that is.
Yeah, I think anybody other than Caleb Farley, I think the next 5-6 corners behind him, you're not missing out on much between the 5 of them. Caleb Farley is far in between the best corner in this draft. Slot, outside, he's not afraid to hit. After that, you're getting more into schematic guys. So, like, Asante Samuel might have a higher rating on this team rather than the other team because this team plays more man than zone or vice versa. So, but I just don't think the drop-off between corners ranked number 2 to 7 or 2 to 6 are really that much. You're not losing that much value in between.
Right. It's all about where they fit into the kind of scheme that you run and where they fit on the field. Patrick Surtain's another guy that's interesting to me. I'm sure he's not going to be there for us in the second round. But his dad was in the NFL. He played for the Dolphins for a while. I think for the Raiders for a little bit. his dad was a beast, and this kid's game is very, very, very similar to his father's.
Right.
Same thing with Asante Samuel. His game is so similar to his father's, it's not even funny. So if you could find a way to get one of these two guys and they end up being somewhat the player that their fathers were, I think it's a win.
Okay.
In my book.
Yeah, no, I mean, if he turns out to be anything like his father, then
woo,
I'll take it.
So
in the second round, though, yeah, I would say anywhere on defense, corner, linebacker. I know I like Isaiah McDuffie.
Yep.
Boston College linebacker. A lot like Matt Milano coming out. Cool thing about McDuffie is he's a Buffalo-born kid. So he knows the weather here. He's used to it. He played here his whole life. And I think it's important to get another youth guy there as well. We've kind of been up in shambles in terms of our linebacker depth the past couple of years. We've had a lot of turnaround in there. Delshon Phillips came and went. Andre Smith we just signed last year. AJ Klein just signed last year. So getting some younger guys in there, some continuity built for the future, that'd be nice. I'm between him and Peyton Turner, though. Peyton Turner is D-end out of Houston. So however they come, it doesn't matter. I think the first 3 picks regardless go to the defense.
I agree with you 100%. We both got Peyton Turner going to the Bills in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
This kid's interesting to me because he already knows Ed Oliver from his time in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to have, like I said before, you go into a locker room, you want to be able to know somebody.
Yeah.
Just so you could fit in a little easier. Things just seem more comfortable right away when you know somebody. Like, hey, this is my guy here. Or, man, back in the day, we used to get rowdy in college.
Yeah.
Like, you have that kind of little bit of a relationship and rapport build up with somebody. That's nice to have. So if we were to take a kid like this, I think that he's not exactly a plug and play kind of guy, but he can fit into that rotation that you have on the defensive line very nicely. This kid's got a lot of upside, especially in the 3rd round if he falls that far.
Yeah. I mean, he's a big dude. Like,
he is a big dude.
If you watch this guy's highlights out of Houston, he looks like a man amongst boys. Like, and he is a difference maker on that defensive line, and I think that's something that the Bills just need. This is just like a DNA guy, somebody who looks the part. I want the Bruce Smith. I want the next generation of Bruce Smith.
Yes.
And the guy who just creates his own presence. Like, you don't have to be a Khalil Mack
or an Aaron Donald
to have great production and recognition in this league. You just got to do your job right, and that's what they excel at. They do their job so perfect that they need to be double, triple team.
Yep.
But not everybody's a freak of nature who can take on a double, triple team. So you get a guy, who I think is in Peyton Turner. He's just a big physical dude. Like, somebody who, like, as soon as you're on the football field, you see him. Like, you can't miss him. He's just there. Kind of like Tremaine Edmonds and, Tre'Davious White.
See, that's why I like that kid Barmore out of Alabama, is for the same reason. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's going to take up some space. He's going to take up some bodies, and you're going to want some of that. Mm-hmm. If you're going to have to double him off the edge, if you're going to have to try to chip him in with a tight end and keep somebody in on every play, that and just the fact that we rotate that defensive line so much,
right,
that this kid really could make an impact on few snaps. Because you're bringing back Addison, you're bringing back Hughes as of right now. You got Epinesa coming back.
F.A.
Obada you just signed. Who's Daryl Johnson.
Yep.
He's still in the organization. We'll see if he actually makes the team. We haven't even really talked about that yet. There's a chance that he gets cut, former 7th round pick or 6th round pick.
Yeah.
F.A. Obada, there's a chance that he doesn't make it. We'll get into all that after the draft, is where we think guys are going to start falling into the depth chart a little bit. But this kid is really interesting to me because if he falls in the 3rd round, I think you can't pass on him.
Right. And the kind of difference maker he is on the field that you see in the film is just, it's unprecedented. You just see it. You can't miss it. So if you don't know who Peyton Turner is and you're into the draft analysis and stuff like that, check him out on YouTube. He has a great highlight film. I mean, everybody does.
Yeah, they make those highlight films look like every player is the best player in the world. I remember watching the Matt Milano one, though, and being like, this kid's a difference maker.
That was us.
And it is so, like, you watch his college film and then you watch what he does now, and it's the same thing. and you get what you drafted.
We actually did that a lot. Preston Brown.
We did Preston Brown.
Because I remember our buddy was like, "Oh man, he's gonna struggle in the NFL."
I'm like, dude, no, look at this guy, man. Like, he's flying across the field. And then Preston Brown slowed down as he got into the NFL and got a little bigger, but
he wasn't terrible.
He wasn't bad at all. He actually, I was a little upset when the Bills decided to move on from Preston Brown.
That's every Bills player we ever have here. We're always upset for a couple weeks, and somebody comes in and fills their shit.
Yeah. I guess the problem that I've always had is like we traditionally have had pretty decent middle linebackers.
Yeah.
You had London Fletcher.
Takeo Spikes.
Takeo Spikes is an outside linebacker. But
carries Takeo Spikes.
I'm thinking like London Fletcher, Paul Plesosny, Preston Brown. There was another one in between there that I really liked too that we let go of. But
Spikes?
But no, it wasn't Spikes.
Brandon Spikes.
Not Brandon Spikes. He came from the Patriots.
Yeah.
That wasn't who it was that I'm thinking of. But the point that I'm making is that it seems like people remember London Fletcher more for his time in Washington. People remember Paul Plesosny for his time in Jacksonville. People will remember Preston Brown more for his time in Cincinnati because he's a Cincinnati guy.
Yeah.
So what about all these years that they were Bills? I loved having those guys here for the Bills. And even Tremaine Edmonds got to sit down with London Fletcher and talk to London Fletcher at the beginning of last year about how his game's changed and about how they used to do things back in the day. And it's really helped with his leadership now that he's had that conversation with London Fletcher. But I guess the point I'm making is that it seems like every time we take a linebacker in the draft that is going to be good and do good things for us, we end up losing them.
And that's the kind of case we're heading into with Tremaine Edmonds this year. I mean, we got the 5th-year option on the table. They have until the 3rd of May to get that figured out. And we'll see if the contract extension's coming for Tremaine because we know that they're going to try to lock up Josh Allen first, and that's the bottom line. You got to keep the quarterback here. We all know that Tremaine Edmonds is a beast. He's an animal. He's only 21 years old, 22 years old, and he's already accomplished a lot of great things in this league. And there's no doubt that I'm sure that they would do whatever they can to retain Tremaine Edmonds and keep Matt Milano and keep this core group of guys together. But with the COVID-19 restrictions on the salary cap, it's really caused some issues. So we'll see what that looks like. We might have another linebacker that could go on to be an all-pro for the rest of his career and miss out on him because we had to pay the quarterback. Now, I'm hoping that that's kind of in the discussions when they go to Josh Allen. Like, hey, man, we want to be great long-term. We could pay you $38 million for the next 7 years and be broke everywhere else. Or you can come down a little bit so we can keep everybody here and keep this dynasty going. Patriots, they were the name for the last 20 years. We want to be the name for the next 20 years.
I would love that.
That's something where it's these guys, we've already seen it now, and we've seen it with people who are already going to be free agents. And the restructures that we have are from players now who still can be cut because of cap casualty.
Addison is the big one for me.
We haven't seen it with somebody who's already under contract, really, that comes back.
Well, we saw Trey White take a
I guess Mitch Morse took the pay cut too.
Mitch Morse, Trey White. I guess the two biggest ones that are left are Stephon Diggs and Mario Addison. And Jerry Hughes.
Cole Beasley is going to be coming up. But it's nice to see that. And I like the fact that we're starting to get these guys and the respect in here, but it's going to be something where eventually some of these guys are going to have to go, and you can't afford them all. So what
I think you start looking at age at that point.
Well, that takes me into the 4th round of this draft. Is
we don't have a 4th round pick
or fifth round? Sorry. I want a center or a guard.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
I'm thinking Mitch Morse. I love Mitch Morse. You paid him top end dollar. He deserved it. His play deserves top end dollar.
Yep.
But the fact that he's so injury prone,
concussion prone.
I mean, we don't know where he's at with that.
Yeah,
he could be one concussion away from his career being over.
And it would be the same thing as Eric Wood. All of a sudden, one day, the doctor says, "Hey, you can't play football anymore," and now you're without your starting center. And that was really unfortunate because I was a huge fan of Eric Woods.
Yeah,
the guy has done a great thing since football. Now he's doing announcing every Sunday with John Murphy, and it is awesome to listen to him talk about everything again, and just having him still around the organization in some way is great. But I don't think you get the same thing with Mitch Morse because he hasn't been here that long. It would just really suck that if this guy got hurt again to just end his career here. Because then people would be like, oh, well, centers just go to Buffalo to end their careers, don't they?
Well, and that's what leads me to that, though, is you never know. Any play, Mitch Morse can get hit in the head the wrong way, have a concussion, and he's out for the rest of the year. That's a very serious thing. It's been serious for the past few years now, and it should be taken seriously. So that interior lineman, on both sides of the ball, is very important. I think you should always draft 1 or 2 per draft, either offense or defensive line, because they're getting hit the most. They're the most wear and tear. And we saw last year as the Bills organization, we didn't have our actual offensive line on there hardly at all. Like the starting 5 that we wanted there.
We didn't throw out like any of the preseason. I know that.
And we were always missing somebody. Somebody was always hurt. Somebody was always scratched. I don't know. So taking a replacement, best available center or guard in the first pick of the 5th round for us is where I think we should go with that.
I think you go center and guard with your 2 5th round picks.
Well, I'm just saying, regardless, I'd like to see a center or a guard at that first
no,
pick.
I agree. I think offensive line in general with your first 5th round pick and then maybe your 6th actually is where I'm going, not the 2 5s. I think with that other 5th, you take a flyer on a running back.
Or a wideout, in my opinion.
I don't really feel like wideout's a spot that we need to fill out anymore because you got Isaiah McKenzie, you got Stephon Diggs, you got Beasley, you're bringing in Emmanuel Sanders, you got Gabriel Davis coming back, and you got Isaiah Hodgins, who you don't really know what he is yet. So you got all these guys on your roster already. Do you really need to fill it out with a draft pick of a wide receiver late in the draft? I don't think you do. I think you take a flyer on a running back, on a guy that's fast, has that home run capability that fans seem to want, and that's where you're looking for offense at that point. And then if that's not what you do in your 5th round or your 6th round, I think you're going in the secondary again or at linebacker and taking another shot on a guy.
I like where you're going with it. We definitely are probably going to be bringing in more halfback competition. I'm not giving up on Williams yet for the Bills either.
Antonio Williams, neither am I.
Or Christian Wade, honestly. I'm not giving up on either of them.
I mean, Christian Wade in that preseason game against the Colts, he made like 3 guys miss.
Yeah.
And, oh, my God.
I don't know why they're just not even – just give them a chance.
I think it's the learning curve. A lot of it has to do with
the lingo
pass protection, the lingo, knowing what you're supposed to do on every play, and being able to do it on a consistent basis.
Right.
Obviously, the kid can run the ball.
Yeah.
Obviously, the kid can catch the ball. But it's being in the right position at the right time and able to pick up on altering the play, changing your pass protections, or him understanding, okay, if he's shifting the protection this way, I'm picking up this guy.
Right.
If he's shifting the protection this way, I'm picking up this guy. Or if he doesn't see the blitz coming, who do I pick up?
Right.
I think that has a lot to do with this, is just understanding who's coming from where, and when they don't see it and you don't see it right away, who am I getting first?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, when I listen to that John Gruden's QB camp and the cadences they tell me, I'd have a hard time picking up on what we're doing too, to be honest with you.
And for somebody that hasn't played football their entire life, I understand rugby is similar, but in that
it's not
in that way, there's nothing that is similar about that.
Right.
So
yeah.
That could be a big part of it. The other part, obviously, is that you're bringing in guys that have already proven that they know the game of football. You don't have to teach them as much, and the learning curve is less. So
now I don't mind taking a halfback there in the second pick there in the 5th round. I also don't mind taking another O-line or a D-line, and I really don't mind taking a wideout. And here's my reasoning: is because next year, Cole Beasley in the same exact contract position as John Brown was this year. Emmanuel Sanders only signed a 1-year contract. Isaiah McKenzie signed a 1-year contract. So it automatically right there, you have 3 guys who are already on the fringe. And getting a guy in the 5th round who can come in and learn, like, what if you want another slot guy? You take him in the 5th. Who better to learn from than Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley? Get him in there and learn from from these guys who have excelled at their career for 10 plus years and make it happen.
I feel like that's where you're at with the unrestricted free agents, though, because this draft, just like last year, is going or not unrestricted, undrafted free agents. This draft, kind of like last year, is very wide receiver heavy.
Yeah,
a lot of good wide receivers in this year's draft. It's not quite the same level as last year, but you're going to find good, talented guys later in this draft. I don't really think that you necessarily need to draft. I don't think you necessarily need to draft one in even the 6th round of this draft. I think 7th round, like a couple years ago, we took Austin Proehl in the 7th round.
Yeah,
that didn't pan out, but you took a shot.
Yeah,
that last round, you're just taking shots on guys.
Yeah,
it's not like you're drafting for need at all at that point.
No, and the Bills aren't drafting for need at all this whole entire draft.
No.
They can take the best player available, and that's what we're hoping for. They just get some good value at their picks. Round 6, where do you see the Bills going in round 6 if they were to go with your O-line halfback in the 5th?
I think you're going secondary.
Going secondary?
I think you're going backup safety because you lost Dean Marlowe in free agency. You're bringing back Jaquan Johnson. Obviously, you got Poidenhire. I think you're taking a safety, maybe a corner,
I would say
or a guy that's somewhere kind of like a hybrid in between.
Yep, I would say any secondary.
Yes,
anywhere. Saran Neal, I don't know what he's going to be looking like. His contract, I think, is up at the end of this year. So you got to start thinking ahead. Jaquan Johnson, don't be surprised if you see him start making some plays out on Sundays.
Yeah.
Now that Dean Marlowe left, Jaquan Johnson's been behind those guys for the past 2 years, I believe.
Yep.
So, and I think the best corner on the board you take here in the zone scheme.
Corner for me. I'm leaning more towards safety than corner because I think that you're gonna just address another corner earlier in the draft. I don't really like filling up at the same position in a draft. Like, you know how some guys, they like to take 2 running backs, some guys like to take 2 wide receivers, some guys like to take a couple offensive linemen. I like to kind of spread it out and take one guy at this position, one guy at another position, and then use your undrafted free agents to kind of fill out, okay, this is what I need still.
Right.
Just to fill out a roster.
Well, my 5th, the way I drew it up, not taking a running back, it was 2 offensive linemen. I had an offensive guard and or center and an offensive tackle just because of the reoccurring injuries that happened. So if we were going off of your idea, if we didn't take secondary, I would hope that they take an offensive tackle at that point in the 6th round. And then 7th round, just kind of do the same thing. Best secondary player or best front 7 player at that point.
Yeah.
And just keep building up on the
honestly
defensive lines.
I'm kind of going for tight end in the 6th or the 7th.
Wow.
Best available.
Wow.
I know I just said secondary for 6th, but I'm saying 6th or 7th. It all depends on who's been taken, who's left available. If you think you got a guy in the secondary that's going to be there in the 7th round, you're probably taking that tight end in the 6th. Vice versa.
Right.
If you got a guy at tight end that you think's definitely going to be there in the 7th round, you're taking him. Okay. I like your idea earlier of trading that 1st round pick for Zach Ertz and a 2nd from the Eagles. But at the same time, if that doesn't happen, I think that drafting a tight end later in this draft is not going to kill you.
Right.
It's not necessarily a need. I know a lot of people knock Dawson Knox for having hands of stone sometimes, and just Absolutely. The case of the dropsies.
Yep.
I really think that he is a capable enough guy that we will be able to see what he can do this year. I think this year is really the deciding year for Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
If he doesn't really step up next offseason, tight end is a need. This offseason, I'm not feeling
I don't think that they've missed on Dawson Knox.
I don't think so either.
The value that they got from
I picked up 2 outfits for Savannah
when he was drafted. And yes, he gets the dropsies, but honestly, he's made some great plays too. So if it's a 50-50 shot, I know that's not really what you're looking for, but his other 50 where it's going good looks pretty. So,
and who knows? The kid, Travis Kelce, early in his career didn't fully stand out. Neither did Hunter Henry, who's another highly touted guy. Who's the other one I'm thinking of? The guy from George Kittle.
Yeah.
The first couple of years he was in the league, he didn't do anything.
Right.
So Dawson Knox could be the next George Kittle, the next Travis Kelce. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty unlikely that he's
unlikely
that he's gonna be. But
hey, you never know. Somebody could turn it around.
Not every tight end in this league is a George Kittle, is a Travis Kelce, is a Rob Gronkowski. You got to find those guys and develop them.
Mm-hmm.
Dawson Knox could be a very good tight end with the right development.
He's definitely got the athleticism to do it.
That, and I feel like you are capable enough as an offense. We proved it last year, going 13-3. The tight end is not a huge need for us to win games. I understand that because we talked about this before the show.
I think it just causes mismatches.
Yes, you said tight end was something that killed us last year.
Yes.
I don't argue that at all. I'm saying that.
Well, it killed everybody. The Buccaneers, Gronkowski torched the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I mean,
the Chiefs had Kelce. Kelce didn't do anything in the Super Bowl.
But they shut him down. They found a way to shut him down.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying is that tight end isn't exactly a need for us right now.
Okay.
Other needs are pass rush.
Yes.
Run stopping, because we've seen teams run the ball all over us for a couple years now.
That's why I held off on interior line for D, because we are getting Star back for the first round for me. That's why I went corner there.
I would like to see a replacement for Star.
You could,
because like I said going into last year, Star Lotulelei is more of just a big body that needs two guys.
Yep.
He doesn't really do anything else. I want to see a guy that's big body that needs two guys. He's gonna get those tackles for loss. He's gonna get in there and disrupt the passing game. I want a guy like Aaron Donald. Yeah. That's why I really think that kid from Alabama,
can do it.
Barmore, could be the guy.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's gonna be Aaron Donald. I'm saying he's gonna be a more
dominant presence.
Not more dominant presence, but he's gonna be a Star Lotulelei on steroids.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
And that's I would rather see that than a tight end.
Yeah, I'm
personally,
cool with
which I understand the Zach Ertz, the wanting the tight end.
Yeah.
To just give you that little more shine on the offense, a little bit more sparkle, if you would.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a need.
All right. No, I'm right there with you. I don't think, and that's why I like where the Bills are at. They never draft for need the past few years, and that's why we've had great drafts. I mean, our turnaround on draft picks has been phenomenal since Nick Bean's come into the organization. So I'm excited to see how the first round unfolds on Thursday. We will get back to you with posts on Facebook, Instagram, and whatnot, letting you know if we are doing the live draft coverage this Thursday.
Leave your guys' opinion too. If you guys would like to see a live stream of us doing the whole first round and talking about it with you as it's happening, doing live reactions and kind of what we think is going to happen for each pick as it happens. Like, are the Jets going to go with a quarterback in the first round? Probably, because they're at number 2 when they just traded away Darnold, which we never really talked about.
I don't care about it.
You don't want to talk about Sam Darnold?
No.
Okay.
He's out of the division. I don't care. He's good luck.
I think he had a rough shake in New York, and I think that he's a better quarterback than.
Good luck.
Yeah. Whatever. I just wanted your opinion on it. I don't think
that's my opinion. Good luck. You know what? I know him and Josh are good friends. He got a bad taste in New York, and he's going to go to Carolina. He's going to be the quarterback that New York always wanted. And this Zach Wilson kid's going to come in New York and look just like Sam Darnold 2.0. So
probably
I'm okay with that.
Do you think that they're taking Zach Wilson?
Oh, hell yeah.
I think they're
might. They're taking Zach. They're taking a quarterback.
I mean, they might take Justin Fields.
They got to take. You got a new head coach. This is how it always works. New head coach, new regime. You're going in quarterback, starting from the top. So, but yeah, let us know. Let us know what you think the Bills are going to do at 30. Let us know if they're going to trade back, if they're going to stay, if they're going to move up. We want to know your thoughts there come draft day. So if we are going live and you guys want us there, we will definitely talk and bring up your comments and your concerns with the Bills. So I look forward to getting back to you on that, because I'm totally down for that. If I can if I can organize it for me to fit that in, I will definitely be here to do a live show.
I'm pretty positive that I can.
Okay.
Like I said, man, it's my last week of school. Thursday night, we're kind of just, we show up, we have a little bit of pizza, and then we leave.
Yep. All right, cool. Do you have anything else for the people?
No, I think that pretty much wraps it up. If you guys have any questions, any comments about anything that we talked about, leave a comment. We'll try to get back to you guys in the comments. I know that we've talked about having you guys comment more during the show and us giving you answers right away. If you guys want to do that too, now would be a great time to leave a comment and we can discuss anything that you guys have questions on. If not, leave a comment. We'll talk to you guys about it later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I just appreciate everybody staying tuned with us, following us along, been here for the whole entire journey. It's been great. Again, I want to thank my buddy Greg, our buddy Greg, for producing what you're seeing on your screens right now to watch us and make this show just a little bit better. We try to get better every single episode in any way possible. So, Greg, thank you very much. If you have any words for the people, go ahead, say what you'd like to say. But you're doing a phenomenal job for us, man. And
yeah, thanks.
Can't be happier for the slides you put together, man.
I just want to hop on. I want to thank James Strasberg. I've seen him in the comments quite a few times now over the weeks, and then also he kind of helped me do a little bit of troubleshooting with the sound earlier. And I also just wanted to mention, I'm not sure if you guys saw his comment or not. He said he thinks the Bills trade out. They get a tight end in the trade, so right along the lines of what Alex was saying with the Zach Ertz trade. But thanks, James.
Who said that, James?
Yeah, Strasberg.
He said that we're gonna trade out and get a tight end.
Yep.
Oh, cool. All right, James, me and you are on the same page, baby.
But yeah, just wanted to thank him. Like I said, he was helping me with some sound troubleshooting too. But much appreciated. Love seeing you guys in the chat.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Thank you, everybody, again for the chat. Stay tuned. We might be here live on Thursday, coming to you with live draft coverage, so stay tuned for that.
And make sure you tune into the Sabres game tonight. They play at 6 against the Rangers. It's on MSG. If you want to watch some decent hockey for once, they actually are playing some decent hockey. So if you guys want, tune in at 6. The Sabres are on the ice.
Hit us up with a comment if there's anything during the game you want us to cover in next week's episode. But we are happy to be here for you. Thank you so much